Hello. Hello. Is this thing on? Hey, friends. Meredith. Yay. Hello, Meredith. Welcome. Yay. She says, so excited to step along this road with all of you. I'm so glad, Meredith, you joined, right? You joined the family. Welcome. So glad you're here. Shelly. Hello, Shelly. Listen, we have a really fun workshop today. It is how to use your hunger as a tool for weight loss and consistency. How to use your hunger to lose weight. All right, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, Melissa from Nashville. You were a Facebook user today. Allison, hello, dear. How you doing? Got lots of people on here today. This is awesome. Hello. Okay, first of all, as always, if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comment section. Type replay. I want to know that you're here, that you're engaged, that you're into it. Are you excited to find out about how to use your how to use your hunger to lose weight today? It's going to be awesome. Hello, Garfam. Happy to see you. Excuse me. Hold on. Had to cough. Okay. So I'm so glad you're here. Rose just joined yearly. She just joined yearly in the family. I'm so excited, Rose. Welcome. You get this too. Yay. And this for everyone else who joined too. We had a bunch of people join first thing on Monday, which was awesome. Everyone is joining the Eat to Live family now. It's really, really fun. So glad that you made that commitment to yourself to join yearly, Rose. You now have your family. This is amazing. So excited for you. And welcome to everyone else who joined monthly as well. It's so exciting in there. Everyone's getting, their logins, their details ready and all that. We're going to have that fun call on Saturday to get to know everybody. So welcome, everybody. Hello, Karen from Virginia Beach. So glad to see you. Okay. If you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay. If you're watching live, hi, I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to use your hunger to lose weight and to learn consistency in healthy eating and weight loss, okay? So I'm going to run through this presentation. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I will be happy to answer them probably at the end or during if they're applicable to that section. Chantal joined again. Yay. Just got logged on. Oh, so happy to see you back, Chantal. I tell you, so many people come back. They leave for a little while and then they miss us too much and they have to come back. So I'm so happy you're back, Chantal. Everyone's going to be so happy to see you. Okay, so let's get into it. We'll start to do the presentation and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the Eat to Live family. Remember, the Eat to Live family is open for registration right now, and that does not happen all the time, right? We only do this every few months. So this is the last opportunity you're going to get to join the Eat to Live family this year. You want to get in, especially right now because we are waiving the join fee. So you're saving like $297 by joining now. It's very, very affordable investment monthly, and you get so much. So you can go to this page, thewateringmouth.com/family, and learn more about what's included. We've got coaching. We've got all my coaching tools in there. It's a fantastic place to be, not to mention all these amazing people who are on this call. It's such a nice place to be if you ever think to yourself, man, I wish I knew some more nutritarians, right? That is the place to be. So we are open now. And if you want to join, go do that now. We're only going to be open for a couple more days. And you have to get in because when we close our doors, we close them. You can't get back in. Okay. Yay, Peggy. She's also our family member. Welcome to all the new folks, she says. And yes, she missed us back. So I'm so glad we talked you back into it. All right, let's get to the presentation. Let me remove this banner real quick. Okay. All right, so how to use your hunger as a tool for weight loss and consistency. First, we're going to talk about a little bit of basics here. Why do we use our hunger for weight loss and how, right? We do this. The reason that we do this, okay, is so that we can remove the charge and the drama and like the emotions from eating. We want it to be boring, okay? We want it to be just like kind of scientific. Our bodies are far, 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 far more advanced than a supercomputer, right? Our bodies have an internal mechanism, an internal messaging system that tells us exactly what our body needs. And it is so in tune. Sometimes I think we get this picture in our head. We start to have these beliefs that our bodies are doing us wrong, or they're failing or us, or they're not acting right as if they were a computer or something. But no, um, our bodies are the way that they are based on decades of input and output, right? We're talking in computer terms here on purpose because that our bodies are designed to survive, right? Our brain and our body designed to survive. So everything that our bodies do, very useful, right? And we want to be able to learn, we want to be able to open up that operating manual of our body. Why is there a line down the middle of the screen? I don't know why, whatever. Okay. We want to be able to open up the operating manual of our body and go, what can I use here that's going to improve my experience? What can I use that's already programmed in, right? And that is our hunger system and our satiety system. All right. The thing is, it's a feature that we rarely use nowadays because the way that we have been taught to eat by these big, huge food companies, whatever, is that food is meant for pleasure, right? We've been taught that food's meant for pleasure. It has to taste a certain way. It's got to be a certain type of satisfying. It has to give us all this dopamine. It's got to be this big birthday party every time we eat. That's what we've been taught. But actually, and we know this intellectually, right? But food is there for fuel. Food is there to keep our body running in optimal shape. I want you to think of food like the gasoline that you put in your car, right? I know it's an obvious example, but it's kind of complex here. And this idea that for reals, if you put the wrong gas in your car, first of all, you could break your car. But second of all, if you just put gas that has a lot of impurities in it, that's going to build up in your car, your automotive system, in the engine and all that. It's going to build up and it's going to cause problems over time. But if we actually spend a little money, invest in, better grade gasoline or better grade, I don't know, I'm not an automotive person, but like, all the things, the oil, the gas, all that. If we invest in the upkeep and the maintenance of our car is going to last a lot longer. Now we might say to ourselves, well, I just don't have time for that. I don't have the money for it, whatever. You either have a little bit of investment now or a bit of investment later, right? And so here we are talking about the body again. We either invest in our body right now and we actually put into our body what it needs and give it the proper fuel. We invest at this point, or we're going to have invest a whole lot of other stuff in the future, not just food and effort, but time that it takes to be in the hospital and to have hospital visits and doctor visits and prescriptions and these kinds of things. Also, we're going to pay for it with our time by having a lack of energy from the type of food that we put in our body, right? We're going to pay for it financially if we have to go to the hospital, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of cost later to not doing it now. So it's important for us to also use the tools that are already available to us. And that is our hunger system. It's the best tool that we can use other than our thoughts and our feelings. Using our hunger system to make this happen it's free, right? It's the best thing we can do. It's a free system that's available to all of us now. And we can use that, okay? So our bodies are far more advanced than a supercomputer. This system, hunger and satiety, tells us whether or not we need more fuel and what type of fuel we need, right? We notice, and I'll talk about this in a second, but we notice that if we're having these, I want you to think of hunger as this like notification, right? Like it's a little notification that you get that says, we need something, we need to consume something, right? We need more energy. It's not an emergency though, right? Did you ever notice like sometimes you get really busy and you feel really hungry all of a sudden, and then you're super, super busy and you're like, well, I just don't have time to eat now. So you don't, and then your hunger just goes away. It's not an emergency. Like we don't die if we don't eat every once in a while, right? No big deal. It's just a notification, but it's such a cool system because it's in tuned and it is aligned to tell us what to do. And we notice that if our system is telling us too loudly, like cravings wise, right, we're off a little bit and we need to work on that a bit. I'll talk about this in a second. I don't want to get too far ahead, but so our bodies are so advanced and they have this system pre-programmed. We just need to learn how to use it, right? Let's talk a little bit about true hunger versus cravings. And then we can also call this toxic hunger. We talk about this in Eat to Live a lot in this nutritarian perspective that Dr. Furman gives us of what is actually true hunger. And unless you've read the book Eat to Live, many people don't know what this is. So cravings and toxic hunger are the type of hunger that we feel nowadays when we eat standard American diet, right? So it makes us feel very, the symptoms of toxic hunger perhaps would be shakiness, irritability, hangry, right? Like we have a whole word for it nowadays, hangry, headaches, dizziness, these kinds of things. These symptoms are actually toxic hunger, meaning these symptoms come from lack of nutrients, right? Lack of micronutrients. So when we feel this toxic hunger type feeling, like how many of you actually feel that? Do you have any symptoms of toxic hunger yourself still? When you get very hungry, do you get all of that irritability and shakiness, crabbiness, right? And headaches and things like that? Do you experience that? That is a symptom that our body is not getting enough nutrients, not getting enough micronutrients. And Dr. Furman talks about this, but I also experience it myself. I know this to be true because of the years of poor standard American diet eating, but then also the many years I've done of nutritarian eating too. I know that difference. Now, true hunger, when your body gets sort of cleaned out and detoxified and all that, and you're getting enough nutrients, true hunger feels like this little notification. It feels like, bing, hey, we got to eat. You know, it's like, hey, I got to tell you something. Hey, is this thing on? We're hungry. Like we should probably eat now. That's what hunger feels like, right? It's not like, oh my God, I have to eat right now. I'm going to pass out if I don't eat. That's not hunger. That's actually withdrawal from junk food, right? It's withdrawal from eating foods that don't serve us. And it's our body like starved for nutrients, right? When we're actually truly hungry, the way that bodies are meant to be hungry, it's just like oh, I'm hungry. Okay, cool. I'm going to wait a little bit. No big deal. And it's not an emergency. It doesn't feel urgent at all. It feels just like a notification, like, hey, time to eat. We could eat, right? Monica, so glad you're here. Yay. Tamara, yay. She says, hello from Nashville. I'm so happy I've joined the family. I'm so glad you have too. Welcome. Yay. Thank you, Tamara. It's so good to have you in there. Thank you. Moo wanted to say thank you as well. So she jumped up here to say that. Monica, hi, my friend. So happy to see you. Yeah. So Meredith says falling asleep after food. That's also a really good indication of some toxic hunger and toxic side effects going on from the way that we've been eating, right? For sure. Yeah. And Shelly, like, how about putting diesel fuel in a regular gas car? Very bad. Exactly. And especially over time, right? Like long term, those effects are so obvious. Melissa says, hi, oh, Melissa, now your now your profile is showing up again. How weird. Yeah, Moo just had to say hi real quick. So that's what we know about hunger at this point. And as I was mentioning before, we want to use hunger as a tool. We don't want to fear hunger, right? We don't want it to become this thing that's like, oh, I know when I get hungry, I feel so terrible and whatever. That would be toxic hunger. We want hunger to just be that notification, like, ding, hey, we got to do something here. We want it to be scientific. We want it to be boring. We want to use it as data. And we want to think of hunger as a technology that our body has that we can use. We don't want to think of it as something to fear, okay? Because when we fear hunger, that's when we overeat because we're so afraid of getting hungry again, right? Okay, so how do we train our hunger? I'm going to tell you about this. It is something called the hunger scale. All right, here's how we actually use hunger. I'm going to give you some information. Now, the information that I'm giving you right now is actually part of my system, my simple 3-part system that I give to you in the Eat to Live family. So we're going to be talking about one of the parts of that system here today. I'm not going to tell you everything because obviously I can't go into everything because there's so much, but I'll talk a little bit about this. You can start to play with this in your life. If this feels like something you're interested in and it feels like it resonates for you, I highly recommend that you join the Eat to Live family because we have so much more information. Like if you like this, I mean, just wait till what you see in the family. There's so much more in there. And if this resonates with you, I'm telling you, the family is the place you need to be, okay, to learn how to eat consistently and feel really good about yourself long term, okay? Sandy says, I always told myself my blood sugar level was low. Toxic, right? It's probably toxic hunger. Hypoglycemia is actually, or is it hyper? It's actually pretty rare, right? So having low blood sugar is actually pretty rare. And it's much, 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 much more common to have actual toxic hunger. So you can, if you know anybody who's a diabetic or whatever, you can test your blood sugar and see, like, if your blood sugar is getting like around 50, 60 couple hours after a meal, then it's definitely a blood sugar issue. But it's probably not. If it's just that feeling of, because typically low blood sugar will also come with like nausea and this feeling of wanting to vomit and sometimes actually vomiting. If it's not like that, it's just toxic hunger, right? So that's some way that you can know. Oh, Sandy, she says, I'm a family member. Yay. But I think I should have done a year instead of a month. Woman, we can take care of that for you. You are more than welcome to join for a year. We got a bunch of people that joined for the year this time, and we would love to just switch your membership over for you so you can get that 2 months free. Okay, so feel free. Just email us at support@thewateringmouth.com and we'll take care of that for you. Okay. Here, support@thewateringmouth.com, and we'll just switch it over for you. We'll help you with that. Aria, my awesome customer service woman, she's wonderful. She will take care of you. Okay. Okay, let's talk about how we actually start to understand our hunger. So we use something in the family called the hunger scale. And this little quote here, I love, hunger is the best sauce. So when we're feeling actually truly hungry, our food tastes so much better. And it's just this lovely thing that we just want to eat and we just love it so much. And we want to get to a place where we understand our hunger enough that we're not overly hungry so that we eat everything, right? We can kind of keep in this range of, yes, I'm hungry, and yes, I'm eating. And now I'm not hungry, right? Eat when hungry, stop when full, right? That's it. That's all we want to do. So I'm going to teach you how to know the difference. So here's the hunger scale that I like to use. I actually learned this hunger scale from my teacher, Brooke Castillo, and from my coach who I hired last year to help me with my own eating stuff. And now this is a part of my program, very, very important part of my program, because if we're not understanding of how our body works, we're not using it to its fullest potential. Okay. So hunger scale, meaning what is the scale of hunger that's possible, right? So for instance, I use a scale, and you can use whatever scale you want, but this is the one that I use. It's a positive 10 down to a negative 10, right? And it just runs that gamut. And a positive 10 being the most full ever, right? I use this example sometimes. It's not a great example because it's kind of gross, but did you ever see that movie Seven where the guy eats himself to death and his stomach explodes? That's a plus 10, okay? So then what is a negative 10? Most hunger ever. It's like almost dead, actual dead starvation, right? Like super, super, super hungry. Most of us will never, ever, ever experience these. We will be more in the range of a 7, an 8, and a negative 7 when we're starved and passing out, right? A negative 8 kind of a thing. But what we actually want is this more forgiving range, which doesn't feel so tough. It's a negative 4 to a positive 4. So what is a 5? A negative 5 is like pretty darn hungry, almost starving. Okay. A positive 5 is full. Maybe you had like 5, 6 bites too much, right? You're starting to feel like, oh, I ate a little too much, right? 7, 6, 7, 8 is like, oh God, I have to sleep now. This is like you just keep eating no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter how full you are, you just keep eating. And 10 is like stomach literally exploding, right? So what do we want? well, look at this 0 here. So what's right in the middle? I describe this as feeling totally neutral. There's no hunger. There's no fullness at all. It's like I just ate kind of a decent sized meal an hour ago, right? It's already started to digest. We're good. We don't need anything. We're not feeling hungry at all, but we're not feeling, we don't even feel the food in our stomach. We feel totally neutral. Okay. So now what's the sweet spot? That's right here. That is a -4 to a +4. We're just hungry, right? -4 is just simply hungry. It's like, I'm hungry, take it or leave it. It's not that big of a deal. I'm hungry, but I know I'm hungry, so I should eat, right? And then a +4 is just enough, satisfied, full-ish, right? Not like full where we're really feeling it. It's like just kind of a, I've had enough. Cool. I'm good. What I want to tell you is that I want you to be living only in this range for the rest of your life. What? Yeah. Like, I mean, from now until the end of your days, I want you here. I don't want you up here for any reason. I don't want you down here for any reason. I don't care if, you got a quick job you had to go do and you didn't bring any food with you. So you start to get really hungry, whatever, you end up as a 7 or 8 or a 9. Like, you don't ever have to go there again. I don't want you to be there. There's no reason to be there, what I'm telling you. Okay. What I'm telling you is there's no reason to be there. What I'm telling you is that I want you to learn to be here and only here. Never stuffed, like never Thanksgiving full ever again, not even for Thanksgiving, right? Like, we can enjoy Thanksgiving, have all the amazing things that Thanksgiving has. We can try those foods, we can have that, and we can still stay here, right? We don't even have to get to a 5, and we can eat everything on Thanksgiving, and we can just stay in this place, right? We don't have to get ever starved again. There's ways to do this, right? It's planning ahead, it's thinking ahead, it's prepping, it's taking care of ourselves. This -4 to +4, that's self-care. Okay, hold on. Let me just, this is a huge note that I want you to understand. This is self-care. This is this definition of self-care. This scale right here, -4 to +4, definition of self-care. This, not self-care. This, not self-care. And you know it too, don't you? You know it deep in your heart that when you get starved and when you get stuffed, those don't feel good. And your body doesn't like it either, right? We get bloating, we get gas, we get uncomfortable feelings, we can't sleep well. We certainly don't want to exercise or do anything extra, right? We certainly don't want to like prep food for the next day when we're feeling these things. That's not self-care, right? So what I'm telling you is that self-care is found here. And what I'm also telling you is that it's available to everyone watching this call right now, right? It's available. We are able to get there. Yay! Free Spirit family member. She says, I am back on plan. So good to see you doing the 5-day challenge this week. That's awesome. Amazing. Amazing. I love how you're doing on your own. You're doing it. That's great. And by the way, we are going to be having another 21-day challenge coming up just in the family member for you folks. I think it's going to be starting next week. So if also, this is another reason for you guys to join. If you want to join, we do 21-day challenges in there every quarter. And we happen to be having one. We just finished this free 5-day challenge for everyone in the general audience, but we're doing a 21-day challenge with the Eat to Live family starting next week. So that's something that's going to benefit as well. In case you are interested in joining the family, we get that too. Okay. Okay. So let me know, first of all, some thoughts here about the hunger scale. What are you thinking as I'm explaining this to you? What's coming up for you? Tell me in the comment section what's coming up for you. And Melissa says, I was explaining the hunger scale to a customer yesterday. I hope she's on the call now. I hope so too, Melissa. That would be awesome. It's such a powerful, powerful tool that we can use. And it's this idea that our body has what it needs right now to take care of itself, to feel right. And I'm going to tell you the biggest trick about this is if you stay here, your body will automatically lose weight if you're overweight. Your body will automatically give you the energy that you need. It's like the easiest thing you can do when it comes to eating, right? Rose says, sounds doable, makes sense. Yeah. And isn't it funny how like no one has told us this before? Like, why hasn't anyone actually talked to us about using our own system of hunger and satiety to create the result that we're looking for? And then what we do in our program is we talk about this range right here. We talk about what happens right before bedtime. Where do we want to be on this scale right before bedtime, right? Because we don't want to be up here. We don't want to be full. We want to be a little bit hungry before bedtime. If we're not afraid of hunger and we practice hunger enough to where it's not scary for us anymore, we get to a point where we start to trust our body. We start to trust the innate procedural like programming that it has. Everyone has this. We start to trust it. We start to understand it a little bit more. We stop fearing hunger. And then food becomes something that's enjoyable, pleasurable. It's we're not always worried that we're going to overdo it and end up here, or we're not going to take care of ourselves and end up here, right? When we start to get used to our body, trusting our body, loving our body more, and taking care of our body more, that's everything. When we're in a place of love, trust, and self-care, that's when the weight falls off. Because if we're really, truly loving, trusting, and caring for our bodies, that means if we're used to that and we've practiced that enough, we're also going to want to put the right foods that create that as well. So we're going to want to find loving self-care type foods, meaning vegetables and fruits and whole foods and whole grains and things like this, instead of the junk that is just a quick fix Band-Aid, right? That's right, Shelley. Eating should not be an event. It is just simply fuel for our body. Yep, that's right. Monica says the hunger scale is almost what it's all about. Absolutely. Yes, my dear. Yeah, I'm doing a live call with a bunch of people. You want to come say hi? Come on. Come say hi. Come here. Did you just wake up from your nap? Okay, so I got to finish the video. Would you go downstairs with Miss Regina for a while? Please? Because I got to do the video, okay? So either you can come on the video or you can go downstairs. Okay.
Oh, where's the plant?
I don't know. You lost it. All right. I got to go. I love you. See you soon. Okay. I'll be quiet. Bye. Bye. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let's see what else. So Meredith says, at night, I take some fiber if I'm hungry. Yeah. And, we can just get natural fiber too. We can just have a little bit of food. That's not a problem either. Right? Meredith says, I found that once I can turn away from carbs, sugar, and salt, I have exactly what you're talking about with the true hunger. Absolutely. Right? Gary asks, sometimes I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning hungry. If I go to bed a little hungry, how do I know how much to eat before bed? Great question, Gary. I want you to practice and figure this out for yourself. Okay. Now, what I want you to, and this is what we do in my programs. This is what we do in the family. This is what we do in private coaching in the accelerator. What I want you to do is start to practice. And I want you to take some notes. I'm going to talk about this here in just a sec. So I'll show you what we do for you to be able to practice this. Okay. So the idea here is to eat when hungry, stop when full. So how do we actually do this scientific data type work, right? We're going to write it down. So Gary, what I want you to do is I want you to start looking at the hunger scale, and I want you to make some notes every day about what you've eaten and when you ate it, right? So let's say you have a big eat to live meal or whatever it is, whatever you're eating, a big eat to live meal at say 6 p.m. But it's all vegetables perhaps. So let's say by 10:30, when you go to bed, you're starting to feel a little bit hungry, or maybe you're pretty hungry, right? By 10:30. So let's say 10:30, and we're just going to kind of decide here what our hunger scale is. So let's say, I want you to write this stuff down, Gary. So you'd go, okay, just before 6 p.m. when I had my meal, say about 5:30, I was at a -5. Let's say I was pretty hungry, right? So you write this down. Then you go afterwards, I ate until I was a +5, okay? So write that down, note that. And also you can note like what the meal was, like say it was like a salad or something or whatever that was. It doesn't matter what it was. Just say what that was. And then when it gets to 10:30, you make a note and you're like, hey, I'm starting to get hungry at 10:30. So I was at at 10:30, I was at a -3. And what happened when I woke up at 4 a.m. was I was then at a -7, right? And I felt really, really starved and really hungry, and I was shaky and I really needed to eat. So then you're like trying to decide what to do. So what I want to point out to you, Gary, is that probably being at a -3 then at 10:30 p.m. is a little bit too much for you. So you might want to find out how you have two choices then. Either you eat more food at dinner so that you are, say, a -1 when you go to bed, or when you wake up at 4 a.m., maybe you plan to have a handful of almonds next to your bed so that you can just eat those in the middle of the night and go back to sleep, right? Or perhaps you have that handful of almonds. Maybe you have that handful of almonds right before you go to bed. So there's a lot of different options here that you can do with this. And the point that I'm trying to make, right, so these are like action items, but the point I really want to make is that this is all up to you, and you have the power to do this, right? The big point that I want to make here is that you all have the personal power to figure this out and to make this work for yourself and to just experiment. And so what I'm typically talking about in all my programs is this personal power thing, and the fact that you have the ability to do this, and you have the ability to become a person who's really good at listening to your hunger and satiety signals. I bet you there are a lot of folks on this call right now who have done so much of this work and have already gotten better at this, especially in the Eat to Live family, right? But understand that this is like learning the piano or learning to ride a bike. Once you practiced it enough to the point where it's just normal for you to be thinking about your hunger and using your hunger, once you have practiced this enough, this becomes just like riding a bike. Like, you can't forget this. It's something that you're very conscious of, right? So all we need to do is just practice. If you want some really good practice, we talk about this in the Eat to Live family. We talk about it in my Eat to Live Accelerator program. If this is something that sounds interesting to you, please consider joining the family or signing up for a strategy call with us, because we will tell you how we actually create this transition within you and guide you through. And if you want to do it a little bit more DIY and you want to just kind of figure it out right now, join the family. This is the way to go. You got to join the family. Okay. Yeah, Patty. Hey, Patty. She's in our Eat to Live Accelerator and in the family, but she's in the Accelerator program. That's okay that you missed it. Yes, that's right, Shelly. It will be here after. This particular one is going to be up indefinitely. The workshop I did last week is going to be taken down at the end of this week, but this one's going to be up. So you can watch as much as you want, Patty. And there's a really good module about this with extra information in the Eat to Live family in that Quick Start program. Okay. And Melissa says, yep, Sunday night, I was going to go to bed, but realized I was hungry. So I ate some almond butter, then good to go, went to bed, right? Do you see how that sounds when she says that? It's personal power. It's empowerment. It's confidence. It's like, I just ate a little bit and I went to bed. No big deal. We don't have to make a big deal out of it, right? I was hungry. I knew, for instance, I was past the point that I needed to be. So I just ate a little bit and then I got here before I went to bed and everything was fine. I didn't get woken up in the middle of the night from hunger, right? Let's just make it no big deal. Let's just eat when we're hungry and stop when we're full, right? So that is the first part of this. Just eat when you're hungry. This is another thing that so many people get off track with over the years, because we've heard so many things about fasting and fasting really is the issue here. Everyone thinks like, let me just not eat as long as possible during the day so that then when I eat, I'll have less calories or whatever. Like, no, like just eat when you're hungry. This is the thing I'm trying to tell you. I believe in intermittent fasting. I believe in the opposite, where you eat first thing in the morning and you stop later. You stop around 3, 4, 5 p.m., right? Like 6 at the latest. So you have a nice big long window of fasting overnight. I don't like that fasting window to be in the morning. It's not as good for detox purposes and longevity anyhow, and it's better for weight loss to do it this way. But what this requires is getting used to your body's natural signals again and trusting your body. right? This is the most important point, is trusting that your body is giving you the signals that it actually needs. So when we're in a place of toxic hunger, we can't quite trust our body yet because we're getting tons of cravings and toxic hunger. But when we work through this, meaning when we listen to our body and when we eat when we're hungry and when we stop when we're full and we get really good at that, our body starts to go to true hunger. That's how we actually do this, right? So that would look like listening to your body, and every time you get truly hungry, like you actually need food because it's been a while since you had food, you eat, period. So if you wake up in the morning and the first thing in the morning you feel hungry, eat. Eat when hungry, stop when full. It's scary at first. I know, it's like because we've been doing this for so long and avoiding eating in the morning or whatever. But like, just eat when you're hungry. Trust your body. And now, if you can't tell the difference between cravings and hunger, that's cool. You will figure it out over time. But when you become a scientist like this and you really start to write stuff down and look at things like numerically and like data driven, right? When you're actually just like getting what I said to you before, which is scientific, technological, when you're removing the charge from eating, you're removing the drama from eating. It's not an emergency anymore. You're just eating when you're hungry and you don't overeat. You're also following the hunger scale. So you're not getting up to a 5 or a 6 or a 7 when you eat. You're not stuffing yourself. You just eat when you're hungry. You just stop when you're full. The longer you've practiced this, the more it becomes second nature. And it should be. It's your regular hunger system, right? Okay. So Shelly says, I have a hard time knowing when I'm full. That's how this system, using the hunger scale, writing things down, looking at what number you're at, and then looking what are those notifications that your body gives you when you are full? What are the different levels of notification? So, for instance, Lori, sometimes you're not noticing it yet, but in here, in the +3, +4, you are getting notifications, but they're pretty subtle and you're not listening to them. Okay. I promise you, you're getting notifications. You're just not noticing them yet. When you get to 5, 6, 7, you start to feel really full because you're actually feeling too much food in your physical stomach. That's we want to get really good at this because we want to start listening for these and actually stopping when we get here and we hear those signals, right? So some signals, I don't know if anyone can give some signals that they usually hear, but for me, like oftentimes I'll get a burp. Like my first burp of the meal will be when I start to get a little bit full. And I know that that's an indicator for me, right? Then I start to get some thoughts in my head like, oh, I think I've had enough, or maybe I've had enough. Like this might be enough. But that is so subtle. You have to listen for that thought. It's very, very subtle. It's like just a little, it's like it's one of those automatic things that are, it's like a, what am I looking for? Like a message, right? It's a notification. It's like there's a word for this. When your brain just like notifies you automatically, it's not even a thought. It's just a signal. Oh, that's the word, signal. It's just a signal from your brain. That's like, it comes across like a thought, but it's like, maybe I've had enough. I'm not sure, but it's so subtle and you got to listen for it. Right. So what I want you to do, Lori, same thing for you and Gary. I want you to start taking notes about what these feelings are like and what you notice. Now, this work, it might sound like a lot of work. Like, I don't want to do this work or whatever. Why do I have to work on hunger? Because you've never worked on it before and it's not normal for you to do this. But I promise you, you do this work for a while. It's not going to take very long. Then you'll be an expert at your own hunger and you don't have to do this work anymore, right? And Shelly says, I eat at the latest 6 p.m. The first few days was tough, but now I'm good to go until the morning. I also sleep better because I'm not full. Exactly, right? Eat when hungry, stop when full. Meredith, that's okay. So glad you were here. Never thought about food this way before. Great. Well, you have so much more to practice and learn in the Eat to Live family because you're with us now. So that's awesome. Okay. And then the last few things I just want to say, kind of already went over this when Gary asked the question, but how do we do this? So we experiment with different levels of hunger, different ratios of food types, writing things down, being present about what happens in our brain when we learn this stuff, right? How hungry were we? How full were we? How did it feel? What signals did we get? Do we get those signals each time we eat? Oh, look, there's a pattern. We can look for those signals in the future to know when we're at a +4 and when we're at a +6, right? Maybe a +4 comes with a burp. It's so funny because a lot of people actually talked about this in an email recently, and I asked people to respond and tell me what the signals were that they had. And two people wrote me back and said that sneezing was a symbol that they had, which I don't get that, but that's so interesting, right? Maybe you would never even notice it unless you were really looking for that. But perhaps that's a signal for you. Perhaps burping is a signal for you, or maybe a yawn or something like that, right? Like maybe you've got signals you're not even noticing. Maybe it's that subtle thought, but you wouldn't notice it because you weren't looking for it. And maybe that's your +3, +4. And maybe you're only used to +6 to +8 signals, right? We can get used to the lower ones too, okay? So find what works for you fluidly without expectation. Don't be like, I'm going to get this perfect or I'm going to get this all right. Hold on loosely to this experimentation and this data collecting, right? And learn to trust the natural mechanisms in your body. And then to wrap this up and bring this home, the reason that we do this is, as I mentioned before, when we're staying in this section of the hunger scale, we will automatically lose weight. And in time, once we're getting good at trusting and loving our body, we will automatically, because we're doing the right quantities of food. We're not doing too many quantities of food. Our body will get us to that naturally, really good weight. It will be easy to stay in the healthy BMI range at this point when we're actually getting really good at this. And over time, because we are doing self-care, self-love, and trusting ourselves and all that, we become better and better at eating healthier food, because now everything's about self-love and self-care. Why would we eat hot dogs? Why would we eat burgers if we really salads and right? And we get conscious about this and we really start making better decisions for our health. We learn what foods actually feel better in our body too, right? We're getting conscious, so might as well start to care about how we feel after we eat a bunch of gluten, or how we feel after we eat a bunch of burgers or sodium or soda or whatever that is, right? If we start actually caring about that, which is a process all in itself, it might take several years to actually really care about how we feel after we eat. But this work is worth it. It is worth every bit of effort to try and fail and keep trying and fall off and keep working on this and getting better and better and better at it, because this work is everything about our health and our longevity. This is how we create consistent long-term weight loss and self-care and longevity and disease prevention and reversal. This is how we consistently eat healthy and get enough fiber and get enough micronutrients and all these kinds of things. It's by doing this work. Okay. And as I mentioned, this is only 1/3 of my program that we do inside of the Eat to Live family. So the hunger part is the easiest part. We also work on our thoughts and we work on our feelings so that we can, feelings being emotional eating. We also work on the emotional eating side of it, and how can we actually get over emotional eating and when we're feeling emotional and all that. And when we have thoughts around, oh, I'm just big boned, I'm not the type of person that can lose weight or whatever. When we work on all that all at once, oh my gosh, it's the most powerful program for your health in the world. I guarantee it's all available to you in the Eat to Live family right now. Okay. Yeah, Deb's in the family. I need to pay closer attention to my hunger and full sensations. Absolutely. It's important to us. Oh, Stacy, great one. I know that she's full when the food stopped tasting good. That is such a good indicator as well. And yes, Shelly, you have to realize that you are worth loving and taking care of. It's okay to take time to put yourself first, 100%. And that's what we're doing here, right? So last note here, I've been talking about it this whole call, but if you like this stuff, right? If this resonates with you, I want you to join the Eat to Live family. I'm inviting you to join right now. We're open for registration right now. We're going to be closing registration down at the end of the week. So you got to get in because the join fee might be coming back, might be, I don't know what's happening, but we're definitely not opening again until January next year. So I want you to be in there. If you want to learn this stuff, there is no better time to learn. This is the time for you to do this. There's never a better time than 10 years ago to get started, but today, right? Like today is the moment to do this. This stuff takes practice. It takes work. It takes learning and working on it and practicing and falling off and getting back on track, right? And you might as well start now learning that, because it's just going to be better for your future, right? So consider joining the Eat to Live family. Just go to thewateringmouth.com/family. This is where we talk about all this stuff. Open for registration right now, only open for a few more days. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions or thoughts about this? Yeah, that's right, Sandy. What I do is so much more than food. I'm a life coach. I am a certified life coach by the Life Coach School. I'm an Eat to Live expert, but man, I'm a mindset expert too, right? Like that's everything to me. Like the food is important, but it doesn't matter how much healthy food you have bought. If you can't get yourself to eat it in the moment, it's just going to go to waste, right? If you're always telling yourself you're too tired or too busy, or you just need to learn to prep better or whatever, like, trust me, that is not your problem. It's not about learning to prep better. It's not about getting, of just not being tired or whatever. It's not about that stuff. It's all up here. It's all your thoughts and your feelings. And once you learn how to, put those things into practice and really get good at it, that's when you can create that long-term consistency. Okay. So the hunger is a little piece of it. I'm so glad that I could give you some information about it today. If you have any other questions, let me know, because I'm going to be taking off here in just a minute. Great refresher, Chantal. Yes, I'm so glad to deliver this to you again. And I'll see you in the family, my dear. So happy. So if you want to join the Eat to Live family, coaching and teaching like this, so much coaching and teaching available in the family. We do 2 calls a month with just me. And then Coach Nancy, Coach Lydia also do coaching calls. We are going to be putting on a special 3-month workshop just for family members, only for family members, about how to succeed over this next holiday season. All right. We're going to help you understand exactly what to eat for your schedule, for your desires, for your weight loss interests, or just healthy eating interests. We're going to help you out. We're going to be having 2-day workshops every month, October, November, December. All right. So I really want to see you in the family. Please join. You can go to thewateringmouth.com/family. And no, Galen, you are not watching the replay. You are here live. I'm so happy to see you. If you want to know more about, oops, I got to take this comment off real quick so that I can put this other banner back on, which is join now, thewateringmouth.com/family. All the information is on that page. Page is way too long. I got to remove some of that text. But if you go down to the bottom, there's a ton of information about what you actually get in the family. We also offer free 21-day challenges every quarter. And in fact, if you join now, you will get access to a call this coming Saturday, as well as a 21-day challenge that's going to be uploaded to the family for all the family members in the next few days. And everyone's going to be starting it on Monday. Okay. So we have a free 21-day included Eat to Live challenge going on with all the family members. We'd love to see you in there on that challenge with us. And let's see. What does this say? I'm a little confused. I got a 15-minute call with Nancy, and then someone else invited me to join. And now you, all of you great gals, I'm just wondering if I'm not a traitor, if I join as soon as I can. Of course not. Of course not. We would love to have you in there. Please, please, please join us. We would love it. No traitors. We're all amazing. Nancy's amazing. We'd love to have you in there. So if you want to join, that's great. But remember, we're closing in just a few days, okay? So, and we're not going to be opening back up again until January. So if you want holiday support, some real holiday solid support, I'm not sure, Tamara. Yeah, Melissa, it's starting on Monday. And I believe that they just finished all the edits. And so it's going to be within the next day or two, I believe. Let me make sure of that, but you will have plenty of time to do your grocery shopping and stuff like that. And then you can prep all your stuff this weekend so that you can start the challenge after that, which is also going to be great because that's going to cover Halloween. So we'll get through Halloween a little bit with some more salads and stuff too, right? But make sure you join if you want to get that 21-day challenge that's coming up. You are so welcome, Shelly. I'm so glad you were here. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here today. Make sure you join the family. You can get coached by me every month, Coach Nancy, Coach Lydia, Coach. We have all these materials that I'm talking about on the hunger scale and my easy weight loss systems and all that. So, and then I forgot to mention it, the Eat to Live family is actually, it's own social media network. It's not on Facebook. It's all private within its own network. And the only people that are in there are Eat to Live family members. Okay. So people who are actually investing in their health, their time to create this change, who want to eat healthier, who perhaps want to eat to lose weight, and then also eat to live. Okay. So you've got a nice community of people. There's dozens and dozens of people in there, all waiting to welcome you in. It's the best place to be. I promise you, on the internet. It's so wonderful. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. Facebook user. I'm so glad to see that. I'll join on Friday as soon as I get my check. You are so welcome. We would just love to have you in there. And of course, I always like to say, consider joining for the year and making that commitment to yourself, because when you decide to join for the year, not only do you get 2 months free compared to just doing the monthly, right? But you also are like drawing that line in the sand and saying, I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to really work on this, right? So consider joining for the year rather than just monthly. Okay. We'd love to see you in there that way. Yuritsa, you're so welcome. So happy to see you. So looking forward to having you in there, Tamara. All right, friends, we had a packed house today. This was a really fun call. I'm so glad that you were all here and spending some time with me. If you have any other questions, let us know in the Facebook group, the High Nutrient Lifestyle group. We would be happy to answer any questions. And then, we would love to welcome you in to the Eat to Live family if you're ready. Okay. Yes, Free Spirit says, perfect. 21-day challenge starts Monday. Yes. And all your support in the family works all together. It is amazing, people. She says, I joined for a month and went to annual right away. Love. So glad to hear that. It's a great testimonial. Thank you, my friend. I so appreciate that. Thank you for being here, Tamara, and I will see you guys all in the family. Just go to thewateringmouth.com/family. You can join right now, and we're closing soon, so hope to see you in there. Okay, tomorrow we're going to be launching another YouTube video. It's going to be a what I ate while I was traveling on a recent trip, and I'll show you how I made that work. I did almost 100% nutritarian, except for the last couple days, kind of fell off a little bit, but that's okay. It is what it is. But I'll give you there's some great tips in there. You'll be able to see at least that first couple days of my trip there, and I'll be releasing the rest of those videos. So that's going live tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we're just doing our thing. Hopefully we'll get to welcome you into the family, and then we close on Friday. Okay. So, good. She says, or he says, I'll join for the year. So happy that my wife wants to do it together. That's amazing. Yay. I'm so happy too. I got to give you this because that's amazing. We're so happy to see you in there. And I'm so glad that you're going to make a commitment to yourself for that full year. That's so good. Okay. Well, that's it. Really, for real, that's it. I got to go now. I love you all. Thank you for spending some time with me. Hope to see you in the Eat to Live family. And if we don't see you in the Eat to Live family, that's okay. We'll still be around. You can join us in January if you want to. And I'm also obviously around on Facebook and YouTube and all those places for free as well. So, okay, that's it. Have a good one. Happy Tuesday. See you guys soon. Bye.